What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the SchuZ Show. I'm your guys' host, Zach SchuZ Schumaker. We've got a jam-packed episode today with lots of big guests to get into today. But before we get into this topics on today's show, I've got a very special guest joining the show. He's a man that goes by the name of the Black Panther. He's 13-2, 6 KOs, and has a big fight upcoming on September 13th. That is Ishmael Davis. Ishmael, appreciate you taking time to come on today, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you.
Absolutely. Well, first things first, we're just about 2 weeks or so out from a big fight for yourself. September 13th, you'll be returning to the ring. Walk us through what's going through your mind at this point in time.
Listen, I'm just ready to put on a good show, man. Going to Belfast. Um, it's obviously not my country, Ireland. I'm looking to go in there and take over, man.
When you talk about your game plan at this point in time, I know we were just talking a little bit backstage, but you're about 2 weeks out from the fight, probably another week or so of training camp. When you talk about the way that you feel right now, how good you feel, do you think this could be the best version of Ishmael Davis that we have seen?
100%.
Okay.
Best day of my life. I'm ready. I just can't wait to prove, what Keegan's doubting.
Mm. We're going to go in depth pretty shortly about, your career, especially the past year or so, but you've gone through a lot of ups and downs. Obviously, you've had your first two losses in your career, but they're great opponents you went up against. Then you obviously go through the injury or whatever that was. We had to recancel. So you essentially have now been, 8 months or so outside of the ring. As you've now prepared yourself, how much has the ups and downs of the past 18 months or so helped prepare you for this moment?
Listen, I'm a big believer in everything happens for a reason, so
Right.
no one can bring me down, man. You just got to keep going. It. Sometimes you take chances, sometimes it doesn't go your way. But like a businessman, sometimes takes risks and it doesn't go his way, but he doesn't stop. Keep going, man. And he reaches his goals. So that's what I'm doing.
All right, now I want to ask you how this fight came to be because I came in on the show about 2 months or so, and he was kind of hinting that there could be a chance that this fight ends up happening. Obviously, we now know it's official. You guys are going to fight. But talk about this, the business aspect of this. When did you start to realize that this is the fight you wanted? It got locked in. Just take us through how this fight came to be.
Me and Keegan were supposed to fight a long time ago. I don't know what happened, but he didn't take the fight. And he was dropped from matchroom. And I pulled out of the Ryan Kelly fight with an injury. He
Right.
kept him, but I think he was told he can take the fight, but he has to fight me. So that's how it is.
As you look at this, like you said, this has been a fight that people have been looking forward to for quite some time. It was supposed to happen previously, obviously it happens at this point in time. Why, from your opinion, if you were to take yourself outside of the ring and look at it from a fan perspective, why should fans be excited for this night?
Because they know what I bring. I bring my all, and Keegan's not a bad fighter, so it's gonna be a fight, definitely.
When you talk about your game plan, you've gone 3 straight fights against top 15 ranked guys at 154. Some guys would say, okay, I lost one fight or 2 fights, whatever it might be. I'm going to go do a couple of tune-up fights. I'm going to rebuild myself up, those aspects. Obviously, that's not the game plan you've taken. You're going right back in against another guy ranked within the top 15. Why is this your mindset that you just want to keep going after the top guys?
Everyone knows I don't turn down fights. I don't care how close it is. Look, Josh Kelly fight 6 days through experience because I didn't have no amateur fights, and I haven't really been in there with a fight like Josh Kelly, especially on short notice.
Right.
I didn't do what was needed to. I should have acted a bit sooner. But yeah, that's just my mindset, man. I like to challenge myself. I believe I'm that good, so I'm about to show it.
I know we kind of brushed over it as well, but you look at their 2 losses. Both of them came on short notice. Josh Kelly was just a couple of days prior. Obviously, Sari Bochuk was a couple of weeks prior. But when you talk about this fight, you've had the preparation. How much different does this help you feel confident-wise heading into a fight, knowing that you've been prepared, you've gone through proper training camp to get ready for this fight?
I'm very prepared. I'm very, very prepared. Going through them short notice fights makes me understand that you need time to prepare at this level.
Mm.
Um, but everyone's going to see the prepared Ishmael Davis September 30th. But yeah, ball chuck, that was 11 days.
Right.
And a lot of guys at the top that want to fight him, but it just shows you about what I'm like. So I hope Keaton's ready.
So I have to ask you this other question because so many guys don't like the short notice fights, and rightfully so. For yourself, you've taken them. But when you look at the future game plan for yourself, do you look at it and say, okay, going forward now, knowing who I am, knowing what I've learned from these aspects, are you going to try to avoid the short notice fights, or if the proper offer comes on the table, would you still be open to doing that in the future?
Yeah, I'm still open, man. It's a career, man. Win, loss, draw. Give it your best. Keep going. But it's got to make sense, innit? For me, them two fights make sense. So
Right.
is what it is. But I noticed that Keelan was saying he don't lose short notice fights, but it's like he fought 2 weeks prior to the Ryan Kelly fight,
Hmm.
and Ryan Kelly's on nowhere near the level of them two fighters.
Right. Well, I have to ask you this next question then. September 13th comes around. You and Keeman step in that ring. You guys go to fight. What will be the outcome of that fight that night?
I'm gonna win, man.
All right.
Just gonna be a win. I don't lie. We'll see. We'll see.
Well, what is the statement you want to leave then? Obviously, you said you want to go out there and win, but when the night's over, people are talking about your fight. What do you want people to be saying about Ishmael Davis?
Um, True warrior, man. Like I just want to show people what I'm like with a full camera.
Mm,
Um, I'm a different animal in it. Be prepared. So this comes for a reason, innit? This comes for a reason. So I just want to show why.
all right. Well, I have to ask this other question as well because when we talk about September 13th, it's going to go down as possibly the best day in boxing this year. I think July 19th was a very, very special day as well. July 13th is going to be stacked between your guys' card with Patty Donovan, Crocker. We go right into the Inoue or right into the Bud Crawford Canelo fight, and then Noya Inoue will be fighting that next day as well. When you talk about this day, knowing that you're going to be a part of what will possibly be the best day of boxing, how much did that kind of help motivate you and excite you as a boxing fan as well?
I'm excited. I'm very excited. Listen, I'm just excited to be a part of boxing itself. It doesn't really matter what night for me. I just want to get in there and
Right.
give it my own. But the big fights on. I'm part of the first time thing. Two Irish men fighting for a world title.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, it's humbling, man. I appreciate it. I've got a lot of gratitude for everything that's going on. But we've got one thing to do. We've got to go in there and get the job done.
Well, I have to ask you your prediction now. Obviously, I said three big fights will be going down September 13th. Starting off with the one that you're going to be on, Patty Donovan, Lewis Crocker. Who do you have winning that fight?
Listen, if Lewis Crocker changes his game plan, you know, we'll see a different
Mm,
fight because I believe he's better than what he's shown. But if he doesn't, Paddy Donovan will do the same thing again.
all right.
Obviously, Lewis Crocker won, but you know,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, innit? Paddy Donovan should have won the fight.
Right. Right. Then the next fight, we're going to go into Terrence Bud Crawford fighting Canelo Alvarez. Who do you have winning that fight?
Look, if Terence Crawford can keep Canelo off with skill, because he's like one of the best skilled boxers in the game, but it's going
Mhm.
to be very hard. And he does get hit, and Canelo's a beast. So if he can do it and keep him off, he'll win. Terence Crawford. If he can't, and Canelo gets in there with the power, it's not going to be a nice night.
Do you see that fight ending with a knockout, or do you see it going 12 rounds?
Can't tell you. More likely 12 rounds.
Okay, I agree. And then the final one, Naoya Inoue fighting MJ in Japan. Obviously, it's been a highly anticipated fight, a matchroom, obviously, for MJ. Who do you have winning that fight?
You know what it is? I don't know much about MJ, but I
Okay,
know that MJ is a beast.
right.
But I've heard that MJ is good, so I couldn't really give you a winner on that, to be honest.
Okay. Well, I also want people to get to know your story, Ishmael, because you have a remarkable story. As I was going through researching you, your journey to this point has obviously been a mixture of ups and downs to help make you who you are today. And so I want people to get to know you a little bit better. And so we're going to start off with boxing. Now, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I believe you started boxing at 11 years old. And according to your brother, a large portion was because you were always fighting anyway. So Take us to that aspect. What got you officially into the sport of boxing?
I was a bad kid, so I was always fighting in school, fighting in the streets, trying to fight older boys, fighting my brother. And yeah, I was constantly fighting. I was excited in it. So when I see my brother going boxing, he was loving it, my older brother, and then he was like, me and my brother Ocean, he's
Mm.
2 years older than me. My older brother took us, and yeah, man, that's where it started.
So you'd say a large portion of the credit you give would be for your older brother joining boxing. That kind of helped motivate you to get into the actual sport then?
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
All right. Well, then you transitioned quite quickly into amateur ranks. What brought you into that? And just what was your amateur career like overall?
I didn't have an amateur career.
Right. Because didn't you have one when you were 12 years old? Did you have one fight or did you not?
I had one unlicensed fight, so it wasn't
Gotcha.
a proper fight. It was unlicensed.
Now, obviously, as you're starting to train up for boxing, you are 14 years old, you end up having twin boys. Take us through that. That's obviously got to be a life changing experience for yourself. When that thing comes around, just take us through how that shifted and shaped your life.
At that point, I kind of thought I was the man. So I was obviously older. Like me at 14 is not like the regular 14-year-olds these days.
Mhm.
And then when I had kids, it just made me feel like I'm older. Do you know what I mean? So
Right.
starting getting more into the street, starting wanting to make money, just going down the wrong road.
When this starts to happen for yourself and you reflect back at it, when everything starts going this different ways, you said you join the gangs, you go to prison then, we'll talk about that momentarily. What would be your advice if you go back to that younger 14, 15-year-old Ishmael Davis? What's your advice? How would you, or even somebody else in a similar situation to yourself, what's your advice to them?
I just believed that was always better than the life I was living.
Mm,
And I've seen a lot of bad stuff, do you get me? And I knew, look, I'll be honest, I had a conversation with myself. It's like, it's either be a bad man, end up dead or in jail, or go down a good route, try to change your life, be better for your kid.
right. And so, in terms of the boxing aspect, then, where were you in that regard? When you're going through all this stuff, did you kind of put boxing on hold then? Were you still training, or where were you on the boxing aspect?
I've always trained, so like in and out of the boxing gym, but I always used to like do weights. So me and my friends were proper competitive, always wrestling, always see who
Right,
can lift the most, uh, always active. So and plus I could fight because I was still fighting a lot as I was growing up.
right.
And yeah, man, when I went to jail, I just thought there's only one other thing that I know to do is fight. So I just come out, started fighting. I was up 10 months. Started boxing. Sorry, and then I went back, and then back to jail. And then when I come out, I said, "Done."
Okay.
Left the road, and then I just locked in.
So it was that second time you went to jail. 'Cause I believe it was for 10 months the first time, then 5 months the second time. So you say that second 5 months is when everything kind of changed for yourself then?
I went for 11 and a half months first time, and then I went for 4 months the second time.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, but that second time was like a realization for me. And I read The Secret on the first day when I got on the induction week, and that just put everything into perspective for me. So I just locked it.
So many people in all areas of the world, go through similar situations. They're in a rough environment, they have rough situations, they need to make money, whatever the case may be. And obviously, there are, like you said earlier, two choices. You either go down trying to do it the right way or the bad way. What's your advice? If you are somebody in this situation, why is choosing the way that you've chosen to change your life, to go down the right path? Why is that the best choice?
Listen, there's no good that can come from doing bad.
Hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, the feeling's temporary, it's a temporary high, but overall, when you're achieving something and people can see, or even if you're not like in the public eye and your family can see it, you're doing things for your kids, your sisters, brothers, whatever it is, it's a better feeling than trying to live a bad life. Do you know what I mean? So
Mhm.
just change your mindset, man. Read, be around better people, change your circles. It's hard at first, and just build new habits, man.
All right, so we go back to that final bit of time you had in prison then. At that point, did you believe that you were going to become the boxer that you are today? Or if I would have known you at that point, said, hey, Ishmael Davis, you're going to be a man that's going to be fighting 3 top 15 ranked guys. You have a chance to be fighting for a British title in the near future. You're 13-2. What would your reaction have been at that point?
I don't believe you because I learned a lot about the law of attraction, and that is a real thing. If people don't believe in it, then I don't know. Some people don't even know about it, but they just live that way anyway. But if you believe something and you work hard at every single day, there's not much chance that you're not gonna achieve it.
Mm.
So
So,
I told one of the screws that I was gonna be on TV, and he was like, "No, you're not. I'll see you back in here." But then I ended up on TV.
all right, so I have to ask you then, you get out of prison for the final time. You decide to change your life. You're no longer going to do that way. When did you officially get all focused on boxing and say, you know what, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go all in on boxing. What made you make that decision, and when did you actually make that decision?
As soon as I got out,
Okay.
and I remember the second time I got into prison, I just thought to myself, "What the hell am I doing back here?"
Mm,
And it's just decisions, man. Like every decision has a like a reaction in it.
right.
And I made the wrong one at the time, but now I'm making the right ones, and look what's happening.
2018 rolls around. You make your professional debut. When you look at the way your career has gone, as I said a little bit, quite a few times now, 13-2 in your career, you fought some big fights, you've been on TV, so on and so forth. How's your career to this point in time gone as you had planned? Has it gone worse, better, or how would you look at your career at this point in time?
I look at it's good, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm showing people like, listen, don't be scared to take chances. Keep your head up and keep on moving, man. It is what it is.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I want to ask you about a certain time span because 2019 then rolls around, and between 2019 and 2021, you almost take a 2 year break off of boxing. Walk us through that a little bit. What'll happen, at least in regards to professional fights? What happened in that time span?
Lockdown,
Right.
you know, what's it called again? Um, what was the
Co-
virus called?
COVID.
Yeah, COVID, man. COVID happened, man. And I got fat. I was eating loads, but yeah, man, I just quickly got back in the gym and turned it around at the end.
And I know that was difficult for different people and different from America's standpoint. Obviously, each state had different rules. For you guys, obviously, it was country wise. When you look at that standpoint, some people were starting to find ways to get fights. Others were not able to, like you talk about for yourself there. How difficult was that? Because you're still early on into your professional career. You want to be pursuing the sport full on, and all of a sudden you have nearly a 2 year break in between your career. How difficult was that for yourself?
It was awful, but I was not signed with a big promoter. So
Hmm.
couldn't get them COVID fights.
So where did you feel like your career was going to go from that standpoint? 'Cause I have to imagine it was difficult, as you just said. Did you still have a? Did you were you still very confident in your career panning out the way it has at that point?
There's no other choice for me. Um,
Right.
either boxing or not. I can't go back to my old life, so I gotta lock in, no matter what happens.
And so we fast forward then to Troy Williamson fight. You know, you obviously had a couple big wins even before that, but Troy Williamson fight was, I feel like, the fight that really put you on the big stage. All of a sudden, everyone looked at you and said, "Okay, you are legit. You're ready, guy. You're a guy that's ready to go out for the next level."
Yeah,
Take us through that night because that was your statement night for yourself, your coming out party, if you will. What was that night like for yourself?
that wasn't real that night. I remember, man. I just remember thinking to myself, I have to win.
Mm.
Have to win, man. Yeah, turn my life around, man. That was a big night.
How confident were you heading into that night?
Just confident as I am now.
Right.
The short notice ones you're thinking about your stamina, you're thinking about if you can be faster, your reaction time. But when
Mm.
you've done a camp and you know you're ready, you go in there with a different like, mindset.
Hmm.
You get me?
And then you do end up landing that big promotional contract with Matchroom. Take us through just that aspect because the more people look at boxing, having a big promotional is huge for your career. As you said, that what happened for those 2 years time span we just talked about probably would not have happened if you were with that. How big has being a part of Matchroom been for your career?
It's massive, man. Like big respect to Eddie Hearn, Frank Smith, and obviously Turkey Alice Sheikh as well because he works with them on some stuff. But
Mhm.
look, it's changed my life, man. And that's another one good thing. Like they've changed loads of boxers' life, but that's another good thing they can say they've done.
All right, so now I really want to dive into your two losses you've had most recently. I wanted the Josh Kelly one first. This one's coming up. You guys have a massive fight card. Obviously, Josh Kelly scheduled to somebody else. Everything ends up changing right there. You end up stepping in on short notice and you take the fight. Obviously, for a lot of people, they're not going to do that. You had decided to go out there and make that move. Walk us through that couple of days leading up to that fight, taking the fight, flying out quickly, stepping in the ring with Josh Kelly. What was that entire time span like?
It was just fast, man. I was just saying, I'm ready. I train all year round practically, so I did have quite a little weight drop, but listen, no complaints, man. He's a good fighter. I respect him. I've spoke to him after sparring him after. It's just boxing, man. It's not personal.
Right. I remember back when that fight was happening that I believe it was late in the night that you ended up getting the call that you were going to be able to possibly do the replacement. So I want to take us to that night. You get the phone call. Hey, you want to go step out on a short notice and go fight Josh Kelly. What goes through your mind?
I was just like, let's do this, man. A lot of people are scared to do what I'm willing to do, man.
Mm.
But now I'm gonna take the right steps and become as big as I think I can become.
You also said something interesting as well, and that is that you've been sparring Josh Kelly. I know you just actually had a post a couple weeks ago back when you guys were sparring with each other. Take us to that because I know some people look at boxing and they think you guys are all rivals. You guys are not close friends. Obviously, when you're in the ring, that's different. But post fights, as you guys have done now, what's just been like kind of building that relationship with Josh and being able to go work with each other?
It's cool, man. Listen, I'm a proper lad in it. So this boxing game, like I said, it's not personal. It's just business. So same try. It's
All right.
cool.
Then we fast forward to December time span. Is your Majimava supposed to go fight Saray Boachuk? Is your Majimava pulls out of that fight? And once again, you take the short notice fight. Take us through how that whole conversation happened to get you into that position.
I was at was there? I was at another show and I got the call late night. Yo, do you want to take this fight? I said, yeah, let's do it. Man, I'm like, yo, he's a killer, you know. I'm like, okay, bro, it is. Let's do it, man.
Absolutely. Well, I want to talk about your future plans now because there is a lot riding into this fight. I want to ask you about a little bit of clarity here because we've heard a lot of rumors now that you are lined up to possibly go out there and fight Sam Gilly for the British title now. And I want to ask about that. Is this a situation where, regardless of what happens against Aguiarco on September 13th, that's going to be the fight for yourself? Is it the winner gets to fight Sam Gilly? Or what exactly is there? Or is there even any truth to that situation?
I've heard about it, but like I said, I've got mission to do. So I do the fighting, let the management do the managing. If
Hmm.
the fight comes, I'll be ready.
All right. Is it a situation where you believe that you'd have to win against Keenman to be able to get that fight, or do you think that fight has a chance of happening regardless of the outcome on September 13th?
I believe I have to win
Okay.
because if I can't beat Kevin, then you know that means I got to build back up, and I'm not ready yet.
Right. And so I'm also interested then in terms of your future outlook. You look at the next 6 months, let's call it even a year, looking at summertime of 2026. What do you want to accomplish? Obviously, I'm sure you want to go out there and beat Keenan, obviously, on September 13th, possibly even go out there and fight Sam Gilly for the British title. But what do you look at for yourself over the next year of your life? What do you want to accomplish, get done? How many fights? What's in your overall goals for the next year of life?
I want to be fighting like minimum 3, 4 times a year, but I want to be British champion. So get through Kevin and then kick on.
All right. So you'd say your biggest goal right now for the next year is to become British champion?
Yeah,
All right. I love it. Well, I also have a couple other questions before I let you go, Ishmael. One of which is this. Your nickname, the Black Panther. I have to know the backstory behind that. How did you get the nickname?
my trainer called me. It's just about being like courageous, fighting for what you want. I don't know if you know about the Black Panthers when racism was going on. There was like big figures. It's just about being a powerful person in your community, fighting for what you want. Yeah, man, just believing in yourself.
Right. And I got one final question for you, Ishmael, and it's the question I like wrapping up each and every single interview with, and that's talking about your legacy. Obviously, you're 30 years old, you still have quite a few more good years left in your career, but when the day does come, you decide to put down the gloves, step away from boxing. What do you want to be remembered for what you have accomplished both inside and outside of the ring?
Showing people that in life sometimes you got to take chances, but also be strong enough to come back if they don't go your way. Being a respectful guy, and in boxing and achieving as much as I can.
I love it. Well, Ishmael, I appreciate you for taking time to come on today, man. I cannot wait to see what guys got in store for you, and best of luck on September 13th.
Yeah, man, thank you.
Of course, you're always welcome on, man. God bless.
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys all for tuning into this interview. I'll have it clipped up, edited out, and then posted on my YouTube channel separately so you guys can go check it out a little bit later. I'm going to go on a short break, and then we'll get into some boxing topics as well. If you guys have any questions, comments, or topics you guys want me to discuss on today's show, leave it in the chat. I'll make sure to address that for you guys as we go throughout the duration of the show. I'll see you guys in a few minutes. God bless you guys. I'll be right back. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the SchuZ Show. Hope you guys are having a blessed Wednesday so far. With that being said, we've got a lot of boxing topics to get into, and a lot of those results and those news things should be more so in regards to boxing fight news. So let's get right into it, though. It was actually yesterday this occurred, but I wanted to give you guys a little bit of time to reflect on it. But here's what we're going to get into first off. If anybody saw the post, Jermell Charlo went on his Instagram story and posted an interesting graphic. It was a picture of a lion having a shark in his mouth. Now, let's just look at the obvious now. Did he say anything? No. Did he tag anybody? No. But what else would possibly that graphic refer to? When you post a graphic that features a lion with a shark in his mouth, there's only two things that possibly come to mind there. One of which, who is the lion? That would be Jermell Charlo. And the second portion, who is the shark? Well, that would be Errol Spence Jr. And let me just throw this out there. If I might be reading between the lines here a little bit, there's no guarantee this is what this post was about. But if this is in fact a hint that we could be getting Jermell Charlo versus Errol Spence Jr. returning to the ring at some point, either this year or early next year, that would be huge for boxing. And I would give massive props to both guys, because if you're talking about Jermell Charlo, a man who is very accomplished, could get whatever fight he really wants right now, and he's going to go right back into the ring with a guy like Errol Spence and vice versa. For Errol Spence being outside of the ring for this long and getting right back into things against a guy like Jermell Charlo, massive props to both guys. Hats off to both of them. And this would be a mega fight, especially if you get it done somewhere in Dallas. You would have massive numbers. Two of the most popular guys, especially in American boxing over this past generation. Going back, returning to the ring after long layoffs to fight each other, this fight would be huge. This year of boxing has already been phenomenal to begin with, but if we have a chance of ending the year with Jermell Charlo and Errol Spence, that would be special. Here is the caption that Jermell Charlo posted on his Instagram. No friends in this industry. And then following the picture with the lion eating a big fish, most likely looking like a shark. Now, both guys are expected to return to the ring in the near future. And so, as I said, if there's a chance that we get Charlo and Errol Spence to fight each other by the end of this year, we're looking for a massive, massive fight. I know it may not have the world championships, might not have those factors involved in it, but still, we're talking about two of the biggest names in all boxing from this past generation. In America, between two Americans, this fight would do massive numbers, would be a huge draw. I hope it ends up happening. I feel like it would make a lot of sense for both guys, because the winner of that fight quickly gets themselves right back onto the map in terms of the 154 weight class. And if that happens, good props for whoever that winner would be there. But I hope this fight happens. It would be a massive draw. Keyshawn Davis has petitioned the WBO to become the #1 contender at junior welterweight. The current top contender is Alfredo Santiago. The current champion is Teofimo Lopez. I like this. If you are Keyshawn Davis, he has been outside of the ring for quite some time now, especially when you factor in the fact that he has not fought since Valentine's Day in February. Obviously, we look at the entire disastrous weekend that he had for himself, and that has ramifications to come with it. However, if you are now in Keyshawn Davis' situation, hopefully you've matured some, and hopefully you are at a standpoint now where it is time to start progressing and figuring out what your next plans are. Your days at 135 are over. That means your days of 140 have now begun. What is next for yourself? He needs to get a tune-up fight before going for guy Teofimo Lopez. But I would love that idea. If Keyshawn Davis can move to 140, get a good fight or two underneath his belt, and then we possibly get a fight against Teofimo Lopez, that would be massive for the sport and for himself specifically. That, if we look back before all the drama that unfolded that weekend, disastrous weekend in Norfolk, Virginia in the beginning of June, Keyshawn Davis versus Teofimo Lopez would have been a massive draw. If this fight has a chance of coming to fruition now, as long as Keyshawn Davis goes out there and rebuilds the stock properly, we could be in store for a mega fight going down when those two will line up for each other and fight for the WBO belt at 140. I hope it ends up unfolding. I wouldn't mind it. I think Keyshawn Davis will still have a great career moving forward. I think it was a bump in the road, a thing that he has to learn from, but without a shadow of doubt, this was a good move for Keyshawn Davis, and hopefully he can go out there and make a good move and move to 140 and actually get himself back on track. Floyd Schofield Jr. news. Floyd said he is fighting Lucas Body next in November for Gervonta Tank Davis, who could very likely soon be vacating his WBA belt. Interesting enough, first and foremost, this was a report by Hassan. I'm not sure exactly where he got his source from, but in this situation, if it were coming to fruition, this has been the fight rumors for quite some time now. I don't believe and I do not see Gervonta Tank Davis having to vacate his belt. I just don't see that being a situation unless there were contractual laws that he broke with the Lamont Roach fight. We have not heard any rumors of that. So if that's not truly happening, then that's not going to occur. So I could see them fighting for an interim belt. I could see them fighting for the entire eliminator, but I don't see them fighting for the actual world championship. However, right after that news came out, other news broke out that Raymond Murtaya and Floyd Schofield Jr. are in talks. The IBF lightweight champion Raymond Murtaya and WBA number one Floyd Schofield Jr. are in negotiations for a November bout on DAZN per Ring Magazine. Andy Cruz is Murtaya's mandatory challenger. Murtaya rejected a fight with Cruz back in November, but it appears, now this can only happen if this is true, it appears as though that no order has yet been made for Andy Cruz to be forced to fight Raymond Murtaya. If that is in fact accurate, that would then therefore mean this, that Raymond Murtaya has the right to go out there and defend his belt against whoever he wants. Only once the mandatory is put into place would he actually have to fight Andy Cruz. And I do like the Andy Cruz versus Raymond Murtaya fight. I actually would be quite intrigued by that fight. However, that's the situation at hand. If there has not been an order by the IBF, then Raymond Murtaya has the right to go out there and fight whoever he wants. And if he decides to go fight Floyd Schofield Jr., that would likely sell a lot better. You're talking about two young rising American stars, Raymond Murtaya being a champion, Floyd Schofield Jr. being a rising star in the sport. I love that fight being made. I think it would solidify whoever wins that fight as one of, if not the best young up-and-coming prospect in American boxing. Obviously, Abdullah Mason's number one right there, but one of those top guys in the next generation. I want to see that fight happen. I'd be very intrigued by that. But at the same time, if it is going to be Lucas Body, Floyd Schofield Jr., I love that fight as well, and vice versa as well with Andy Cruz possibly fighting Raymond Murtaya for the belt. I like that as well. So a lot of moving pieces here, but I am very intrigued by either one of those options. The point is this, though. Floyd Schofield Jr. has lots of options on the table right now, and I'm excited to see what he's got next because Raymond Murtaya would be the biggest attraction and appeal for himself. A body fight would get him really ready to go fight for a world championship. Whatever the route is, I think it's a good choice for him. I think he's going to be I think he will be a world champion in the future. Some other fight news roundup. Samson Lewowski has won the IBF heavyweight final elimination purse bid for the bout between Frank Sanchez and F.A. Jagba. Samson Boxing bid $302,000. Top Rank bid $210,000. The purse bid will be split 60-40 in favor of a Jagba. Solid fight right there. I know I was intrigued at least to see possibly F.A. Jagba go out there and rematch Martin Bacoli. It appears those days are over. Why? Because F.A. Jagba has a chance to go for an IBF heavyweight final eliminator. Much bigger appeal. They get you much quicker in line for possibly fighting for a world championship. I'd favor F.A. Jagba quite a lot in that fight, but we'll see what ends up unfolding there. WBO flyweight champion Anthony Alescagua is slated to return to the ring on one of the Canelo Alvarez vs. Terrence Bud Crawford fight cards in Las Vegas in September. This will be the first time he's fighting the U.S. in 3 years. In that time, he's gone over to fight Prime Kenshiro Taraji in Japan on late notice. He's bounced back, he bounced back from that defeat and won a world title with one of the best KOs of 2024, and he's now made 2 title defenses since that standpoint. He is a very exciting fighter. I love watching Anthony Alescagua win. I thought his last fight was a little bit controversial, but he still won that fight. And now he gets a chance to return back home, fight in America. I like this situation. And honestly, just be honest, the week of September 13th is going to be stacked. This fight is likely going to be replacing the Jarrell Miller and the Michael Hunter fight that was scheduled to happen. Not as good as that fight, in my opinion, but still. Anthony Alescagua getting a big platform to fight on is good for himself, and he deserves that opportunity. Last fight I want to discuss is that Michael Magnesi will face former featherweight champion Mark Magsayo in a WBC super featherweight final eliminator on October 29th in Manila, Philippines. So Mark Magsayo gets to go back home, have a big opportunity to fight there. I love the opportunity for himself. He was on the show a couple weeks ago, and he said his next fight would be for a world championship. It appears that's not going to be the case, but he will be returning to the ring in his home October 29th for a final eliminator, and that fight should propel him to getting a world championship shot. So that's what he's got in store for his career at that point in time. With that being said, I don't see any more comments in the comment section, so I appreciate you for tuning in earlier as well, man. I know I commented that, but appreciate you for tuning in. I hope you guys all have a blessed rest of you guys Wednesday. I will be back live tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. I will announce who that guest will be tomorrow about afternoon time, my time. So I'll see you guys back live tomorrow. Hope you guys have a blessed rest of you guys Wednesday, and I'll see you guys back live tomorrow. May God bless you guys all. And with that being said, SchuZ out. God bless you guys.